CFB 25 has just been released, continuing our Run and Shoot 101 series. This episode, we're looking at 90 switch streak. Once again, I'm going to be using Arkansas for this video. There are versions of this play in many sets, but this episode we're going to be looking at this version from Gun Spread. Building off what we went over in last episode, 90 streak, you're going to start with your read on Y. If Z is pressed or something, you might look at him as an alert, but typically you're going to read Y to H to X. And you're going to have those two streak reads on the backside. We're going to pretty much always align those into the boundary. So that's the short side of the field. We're going to read that first guy Y, and if he breaks out, then that means it's probably a blitz. Be aware of that. He could run his lock seam. Switch is pretty much the same exact play, except the backside routes have that switch release. So H is running the outside streak read, and X is now running your inside streak read. Well, they should be. We do have an issue that I've encountered where I cannot find a way to make that wheel break across or sit like the outside streak read does in streak. So in the game, we have the same exact thing on the front side. We have the fade with the locked seam that can break out versus the blitz. We're going to read that side exactly the same as last time, except now we're going to read the outside receiver, the X receiver, into the slot receiver, who's going to be now taking that outside position. But our eyes, we're going to read it the same exact way as streak, and these guys should get to similar landmarks as streak. So here it is on the field, and we're going to be going against it. Cover one hole. Now, cover one hole is not a bad choice at all here. It's just nowhere near as good as streak is against cover one. You can kind of get it to him on the outside if you kind of underthrow it, but like I said, a switch stick could definitely mess that up. You can also kind of get it in here to the post, because that lock seam was man-to-man. You can sometimes get that, but neither one of those are really easy. Cover three match is again going to be kind of the same. So again, we're starting over there with A. He's not running out. He's running up his lock seam. I see the safety inching towards him, but I don't really have anyone in great position here. If you can wait long enough to get that post, it's there pretty consistently. But it could be a hospital ball. Cover three sky. Now here's where I would think you would see the switch wheel break back across or maybe sit, but you get neither one. There's a corner on top of that route the whole way. He has no chance out there, and you have a curl defender underneath him. He should break back across. But you can squeeze it in here right between these three defenders, kind of like a triangle. Against quarters, again, for sure, streak would have him break across here, and you're not going to see it. It's going to be tough against quarters. This is not a good look at all. If you can wait long enough for that post, you can get him in there, but you're going to need your O-line to really hold up. Palms. No one really comes open that often for me. This isn't a great play right now against a lot of this too high stuff. Cover six is going to be very similar. We have the two side over here to the left and quarters to the right. He breaks out, but the guy's on top of him. I don't trust that. So eyes flip. Yeah, there was no one open there. Cover 9 is where it all changes, though. This is the one too high that is way better. So you have the quarter side over to the switch, and the post will come wide open and pretty consistently. Why this and not palms or quarters or anything else. Cover 6, I have no idea. I think it has something to do with having that quarters to the boundary with a half to the other side. I mean, it has to have something to do with that, but it's weird that it would defeat quarters here, but it wouldn't defeat quarters mirrored. Cover 2. Cover 2 zone. So again, our eyes over on the left on A. He's running down his little seam. He's not breaking out. You can squeeze it inside of him, but the better choice against cover 2, if you realize it's cover 2 by now, is hit this post over the middle. And this is great against cover 2. Cover 2 man. So that being said, it could be pretty good against this in theory. Reading over there on A, he is running his lock seam. This is not a blitz. And there's our guy breaking across the middle. It's just a matter of if he can beat his man. If that corner is better than your guy, that could be bad news. That is another issue that can happen, is that your players all just turn into a big jumbled mess over there and leave you waiting for someone to come open. So I would not recommend it really against 2-man, but if you can't hold on to it long enough, whoever comes out of that can be very viable. Versus the blitz, we have our blitz breaks. It's the same exact thing as streak. Against man blitz, now to that side there isn't any indication that there's a blitz on, so he does not run his out. But you have this post coming open right over the top. You have 6 in there to block. You're covered. 6 can block 5 pretty consistently. And at this point, this just becomes kind of like cover 1 was earlier. Oh, see, I got lucky. That guy missed me. Cover 0. 4 cross man. And it's going to be your blitz breaks again. You could try and hit that switch post, but I think it's just going to take too long. You're really just going to keep hitting that over and over again if they decide that that's what they want to do. Make them stop it. I did notice this. This is a little bonus tip. I put it on 2-man shell and ran quarters and ran it against that, and the wheel came wide open against that. So definitely keep an eye out for if someone is using shells. Some stuff can just get way open that wouldn't if it was on default. And keep that in mind for when you're on defense too. Don't overuse those shells because you could be putting your defense in a bad leverage situation. Like I talked about the other day, we have all sorts of great conversations taking place over on the Discord. We have new people joining every day. There's a rabbit trail you can go down and you can find some old conversation from 3 years ago where everyone was talking about their favorite play from Andy Reid, or so-and-so went to a coaching clinic and had stuff to share. It's always a good time. Also wanted to take a minute to plug my Patreon. I have all sorts of guides on there that I'm putting out pretty regularly. I've got some interesting ones already planned for this college football 25. I'm not going to have any out in the near future because I'm working on these videos instead. But down the line, I'm going to definitely have a run and shoot playbook. I want to do one on the 3-3-5, Gary Patterson one. Oh, and I guess I should probably also make one about him. Huh.